Welcome back to Inbound Unbound. I am your host today, Michaela Phillips, and I am a senior strategist here at Protocol 80. I am joined today with two awesome colleagues. We're going to be discussing AI and B2B marketing, the good, the bad, the ugly, what we love, what we hate. Zach, Adam, how about you introduce yourselves?
You first.
Hey, I'm Zach. I am on the RevOps team here at Protocol 80. I get to do a lot of HubSpot onboarding. I get to do a lot of sales support enablement, some coaching, marketing, and just about everything else.
I am Adam Bossler. I am senior inbound marketing specialist. I forget my title all the time. It's too many words.
I can't remember if I got mine right.
I think yours is mine, but you switch out strategies.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Okay. We can help each other with that. Basically, I oversee help with strategy and mentoring our writing team, help with creating topics, researching keywords, revamping website pages, other types of content. And now and then I still dabble in actually creating it myself so that I don't get old and forget how. So I kind of am the jack of all trades, I guess. Master of none, that's for sure.
I think you're the master of some. I'll give you that. All right. So we're going to be talking today again, AI, B2B marketing. Let's lay some groundwork a bit just for the audience. I know your typical preferences on this, but how about you both share your stances on AI? How would you describe your current views or feelings on AI and B2B marketing in one sentence?
Me.
You're always so good at keeping it to one sentence.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just one of those things. It's like a lot of tools. It's like useful in the right hands and very destructive in the wrong hands. That's my one sentence for now.
I think underdeveloped and overhyped at this point. And that's coming from a guy who is a massive advocate of AI and B2B.
I like your stance on that. I would have to agree, and I am also a little surprised because I know you're such a massive advocate of it, and I think that ties back to what Adam was saying too, where it's in the right hands, great, but we have to be careful about how we're using it, how it's shaping the work that's being produced, and all of that. So we'll dive into all of that and more, I'm sure, today. But thank you guys both. I think that kind of is all encompassing. So I'll ask each of you. Adam, you can go first, then Zach. How have you been using or avoiding using AI in your day-to-day tasks with what you have on your plate? I'm interested in how this differs because your roles are very different here. So I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, there are days when I'm doing the actual boots on the ground implementation. There are days when I'm being more of that like strategy mind. So for me, it is a little all over the place. When I was more heavily into writing, I was maybe using it most days of the week, and certainly not in a like mass like, okay, write this for me. More so I'm like bouncing ideas off or help me understand what this means. So in terms of how I'm using it now as a guy who's kind of in between doer and overseer, I would say the couple main ways would be, number one would be I'm still using it as like that, not as necessarily the god of facts, because we all know sometimes it's the god of misinformation, but just like so we, for context, as you all know, we work in a lot of like niche or niche, if you prefer, companies, a lot of B2B, so a lot of stuff that like I, who can barely pump my own gas, can not really understand. So I will bring some stuff from time to time, potential keywords, potential topic ideas, and just be like, hey, help me understand what this means. And I just find that it, in a weird way, it's like more efficient than Googling at times. I think the best way to like to summarize how I use it, it's like when Google isn't enough for me to do my like word vomiting. Like I need sometimes to just have like a stream of consciousness, because a lot of times the things that I would want to ask Google, it would be like a 25-word search term. Like I just need to be able to be like, here's all I'm thinking. Help me make sense of this. And so it's just kind of like getting me on my way. It's not doing the work for me 9 times out of 10. It's just pushing me along my way. The one other way I would maybe say use it is as like almost like an aggregator or a summarizer. So I'll be like, hey, Mr. Google, I'm trying to figure out what the search intent of this word is, but ideally I'm not like clicking into all 10 entries on page 1 of Google search results to figure out what a keyword means or what a buyer is trying to get across. So I will tell ChatGPT like, hey, we're trying to write this topic. Here's the primary keyword. Here's our audience. Here's where my client resides in the world of business. All these things considered, what is the search intent and the buyer persona that this keyword is going after? Because sometimes that's just a lot more efficient than me, like I said, opening up all these different pages, and then there's all these dense articles with all these scientific or technical terms, and I'm like, I find that GPT is decent at cutting that work out for me. It's also great for making tables.
Really great.
Really great. It loves to make tables. And then,
Adam, can I ask a question?
Yes.
How much do you use ChatGPT on a daily basis?
So as I said about like the old, when I was more of an implementer, it was more, I would say like, it was most days, at least once. Now I would say there might be more days where I don't use it than when I do, but I would maybe twice a week now. And it's very like case specific, like I said. Like I want you to untangle the mental mess in my head for me. But yeah, I definitely avoid it for like the pure, as I'll probably use this term many times throughout this podcast, but like outsourcing creativity. That's a big no-no for me. I'm going to guess you are going to say more than like twice a week.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I've stopped using it anywhere near as frequently. I use it for a lot bigger projects. So, like I said, not to outsource creativity or anything, but for that really boring stuff where, like earlier this week, other Zach and I were working on an app script, a bit of JavaScript for a client to go through and run some automation pushed from HubSpot into the Google Sheet. The app script goes through, does all the processing for it, and then the API connection sends it back into HubSpot. I've been using it a lot for that kind of stuff where we could sit down and take all the time and write the script ourselves, but why on earth would we do it? Also, I'm not in like a super creative role like you are.
No.
So our use cases are just wildly different now.
Yeah.
Your use cases that tend to go right over my head, but it is really cool what it can do from that standpoint. I know in the past most of our clients are on HubSpot, but there are a few that use WordPress, or one was on Squarespace, and it was incredibly hard, to your point, to make tables in Squarespace.
Yes.
And being able to ask it, and in like a conversation, which is an easier way for me who has no web developing or coding experience, to be like, I want this to do this. Can you help me? And it's like, sure can. Like, give me this information. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I know that information. And kind of like, I thought it was cool, at least from my standpoint, like how it walked me through that. Because again, it's not a role that I'm typically in. It's not a task that I'm typically doing. But there's just so many use cases, from content to reporting. That's something that I do a lot of too. Using it to, I have all these insights. I have, as you said, I have all of these wild ideas that are like almost word vomiting in my head. I'm like, can you please help me organize this into a way that makes sense? And then to what you're doing with it, Zach, which is takes it to like a whole nother level.
I don't think it takes it to a whole other level. I mean, it's super similar, I think. It's just a slightly different application of it. I still have no idea what I'd be doing otherwise. It's just, I tell it what I want and it does it.
That's My favorite part about it.
I know.
Big question. Do you say please and thank you?
You have to.
Yes.
I have to as well.
It's a law, isn't it?
I know some people are don't, and I know that it also takes up more energy. I read something on the fact that it's almost like waste.
You could actually cause a blackout by saying thank you too much.
That's Sam Altman's issue. That's not ours.
Yeah, right? I did hear an interesting take on that, though, as well, where it's like, if we stop saying please and thank you to our AI helpers, will that reduce the amount of times that we say please and thank you to other human beings?
I don't think so.
Eventually, over time. But I don't know.
I'm not.
It was interesting.
I mean, it's
I know.
I'm not standing there in front of Zach Hens and saying, hey, write this JavaScript for me. And then staring at him while he does it.
You should, though.
Can you do this? Can you make it sound different?
So I don't know how true this is, but I did hear once that allegedly, and this was I probably read this almost a year ago, so it's kind of totally changed by now, as we know. But someone claimed that you will get slightly better results, and on average over time if you are polite with it. Again, I don't know where that's at in 2025, but 9 months ago, that was what an article was saying. So, just little kindness goes a long way.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Adam, you can try that. So spin up your own ChatGPT, and then a secondary one. Be super nice to the first one, run the same prompt for the second. Be a jerk to it, and see what it gives you.
Right. We'll circle back on the next AI-related podcast.
Yeah, you're gonna. There's your
say
homework.
A bad word there.
No, I would never say it.
Are we allowed to say bad words?
It's unbound. Yeah.
Poop.
There. Thank you, Adam. Breaking that ice.
We got that out of
Yeah.
out of the way.
I actually wanted to leave
Tone it
the
down
podcast with that, but I was like, no, I'll get in trouble.
All right. Back to AI.
Anyway,
what excites you most about the recent developments, how it's evolving? We know it's evolving quickly.
Yeah.
Is there anything coming down the pipeline that you know of, or recent updates that have particularly improved your quality of life, or something that you're excited about?
So you had sent me a general idea of what you're going to be asking before this, and this was the one that was the hardest for me to answer. So I was like, now if I were in your role, I bet I could have answered it more quickly because you are more about features and whereas for me it's more all plays into I could spend a whole other podcast having a therapy session about my concerns with the world post-COVID and siloing, and the robots are going to take us all over, and no one has any empathy anymore.
Not if you say please and thank you.
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, I'll be okay. You're all screwed. But that aside, it's hard for me to pick out certain things. The one thing I will say is it was huge when they integrated the live search, for lack of a better term, instead of having to. So for those who don't know, AI is built on a library of content. It learns for, I don't know, what does it take, months? It's learning the internet.
So anymore. DeepSeek.
Now it takes 5 seconds. Yeah. Great. It's creepy.
We're approaching the singularity, I think.
Yes. But it's built on all of the knowledge is built on existing content, so it can't, at least until, X number of months ago, it couldn't tell you anything about new stuff or actively crawl the web. So since it's definitely been more useful for me since it started to do that. And I will say in terms of, this isn't a feature I'm excited about, but I will say, I don't know if there was a explicit update a few months ago, but I remember starting to almost kind of suddenly see an uptick in the quality of the results I was getting, just in the way it spoke to me. I don't know if it's starting to get me or something, but
I was gonna say it can learn directly from your past entries, so it might be more oh, I know what you like.
Yeah, I don't know if it's getting more cognizant of what's gonna piss me off, or what I'm gonna be no, write it like an actual person, or do this or that. But this is a boring answer, but yeah, it is just kind of better, and I'm sure it will continue to get better, which is exciting and scary.
It has so far. Continuously gotten
the worst it'll ever be again
by the week. Yeah, Exactly. When we were taking all those training classes on it,
2 years ago?
2 years ago, I know, which I can't believe it's been that long. But I think someone's in one of the training sessions said to treat it like it's the world's brightest intern, but like on their first day of the job. So I think that's a good way to think of it. Anyways, your turn. You are like the master at PD of knowing what's happening before it even happens. So I'm sure you have all these cool use cases that you're going to share with the world right now. No pressure.
Nothing new that I don't think people have heard of.
Never mind.
I'm going to make... I'll let you know one thing that I'm genuinely excited for that doesn't even necessarily affect me super, to a great degree in my current role, but also something that I'm genuinely super excited about for a lot of other people. So, what that is the way that vibe coding has come along. So, I think when most people think of AI at this point, they think of some LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini, or something else that they can talk to and access their therapist, helps give them ideas for writing, or just to break down and more easily disseminate information. But for vibe coding, for any of the listeners who don't know what that is, it's essentially when you sit down, you have an idea for a project, you're trying to build something, you start out your project, you start writing whatever program you want, Python, JavaScript, C++, C#, whatever else it might be, and then you essentially have a little coding agent there with you that you can say, hey, I want this specific functionality, let me describe it, and it's like creating that table in Wix or WordPress, or like creating a piece of app script to run. You can start to tell it exactly what you want, and it's contextually aware. It knows what's been written, it knows the end goal, but it takes it one step further and starts to adhere to like best practices too, and understand how it can begin to improve the process. And by that I mean make optimizations within the program so that it doesn't take a long time to run. If it doesn't need to, it's executing a bit more efficiently, power drought, whatever else it may be. And the reason that excites me so much isn't because I'm going to be using it, but I think of all the people out there who might want to develop an app, make a specific program, get into that world, who don't have the resources to maybe go to school for it, or to devote hours and hours and hours every night for a year or longer to learn that stuff. But now it's open to them. They can sit down, they can start with the basics, explain what they want, and have this program not just write it for them, but guide them through why it needs to be set up that way. And I think that is so wildly cool and will unlock so many unbelievable tools and applications and programs for everyone over the next, into perpetuity, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool that it has like the why part of it.
Yeah,
I think that's what
depending
drives
on the
me.
program, I think.
Yeah.
They're a dime a dozen at this point. And I'm sure a lot of them cost money. They run a few cents per prompt, and it adds up over time. It's not nothing, but the fact that it's there makes me excited to see where it will be a year from now or 5 years from now, and to see how accessible that entire realm that is daunting and overwhelming to so many people becomes. That's what I'm like genuinely excited for. But the prediction that I'm going to make is one that I actually made on the podcast about a year ago.
And I'm
going to move up the timeline. I think you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And that's that with the increasing push to make something like search results in Google and Bing more and more personalized, we are very, very, very soon going to see your own AI agent represented in Google search, personified. Your own face that you get to speak with that will give you basically the red AI summary overview. It's already halfway there. We just need the face with the little fake mouth that moves now. That just like ChatGPT will start to, they're not very good yet. Just like ChatGPT will start to learn your mannerisms, the way that you interact with it, and then start to tailor how it gives you those answers in search results to you as an individual. I don't think that we're going to lose positions 1 through 100 or anything like that. I think that that's also going to be there for the folks who still want to go down the rabbit holes and do their own research, which is, I think, everybody in the room at P80, quite frankly, at this point. But for, I don't know, the vast majority of people, you're going to have your own agent in search that you get to speak with and answer questions. And it's going to be just like a little Jarvis in your Google profile.
Absolutely. And I remember when you said that, I was on that version of that podcast. For anyone who's listened for the entire time and has heard that one and is now listening to this today, I remember I said I want my AI agent to look like and sound like Clippy.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. I hope that your prediction comes true soon because I've been looking forward to Clippy since you brought it up about a year ago.
Think of vibe coding, and you can just make your own little Clippy.
All right, yeah. I'm in. And to tie back what you were saying with the vibe, what was it again?
Vibe coding.
Vibe coding, yeah. First time I'm using that phrase right here, right now. But what you were saying is not dissimilar to conversations that came about when Canva and other sources of like graphic design software started to open up, where it's opening up that accessibility, and you still might not ever be able to do exactly what others are doing in different platforms and things like that, but it does make it a lot more accessible, and so it makes the world as a whole a lot more creative, I think, because people who didn't have the tools to express themselves in that way are now going to have the tools to express themselves in that way. And so I'm glad you brought that up because that is just super exciting. Like, I just can't even imagine what ideas people have had without the capabilities to produce it. And now it's kind of leveling the playing field a little bit so that some of those people can get those ideas out there. And I think it will improve everyone's lives.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so, at least.
Yeah, I like to think that. There's always people who are going to use it for bad.
Yeah.
And it might be slow going at first, too, but I do think that's a really exciting.
Imagine asking Clippy to help you write some destructive software in vibe coding.
I know.
Evil
I feel
Clippy.
like Clippy would
Evil
lecture and be like, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
Or it could be like Clippy with like red eyes, like kind of scary.
Oh, like that, yeah. Maybe you just have to say please and thank you enough and it'll do whatever.
Do you think it'll be on the dark web?
Maybe he has an evil twin. It's like Flippy or something.
Ooh. That's like a sticky note or something?
Yeah. Or like a staple. I don't know. Staple? I got nothing.
Just a single staple?
A single staple.
Not even a staple.
Okay. All right.
Easy to animate, just a little line that has 290-degree angles.
And then like a little eyes on top, mouth on bottom. Oh, you're here. He's the one recording it. He's our designer behind the scenes. So maybe he can design me a Flippy.
Flippy. Or Slippy. We can work on it. We'll workshop that.
Yeah. Adam, that's on you. Yeah. Between everyone in this room, we should be able to get it on.
I'll ask ChatGPT. I don't know why I keep thumbs up.
Sorry.
It's because there's a guy that's been on Jeopardy a lot lately, and he does like.
You picked up his mannerisms?
I just really liked his double thumbs up. He does a double. His name is like Isaac something, and then every time the old guy announces him, he's always like
a double two hands, not like one hand twice.
Like he's like acknowledging, like, yes, I'm a huge nerd. I have a mustache and curly hair. Like, might as well just lean into it. At least on Jeopardy. Like, have you been on Jeopardy?
I've not.
You have curly hair and a mustache on Jeopardy, you're a nerd. Anyway.
Yeah, Alex Trebek, huge nerd. Also dead.
R.I.P.
Oh, bringing it back to AI.
No.
Many people say that you need to adopt it or you risk falling behind. Mm-hmm. How have you seen this ring true? Or do you think, again, that it might be overhyped?
I think you said it perfectly. Undercooked and overhyped. Maybe some people jumped onto it a little too quickly. Fall behind. So if we take that in like the literal sense, for me, I don't know. I just think there's so many times where it doesn't save me the time that I think it's going to, or that it's allegedly supposed to. So in terms of, I mean, you're pulling that's like a literal thing that I see in so many talks, articles, whatever. Like, it's always that risk falling behind. But like, yeah, taken in the literal sense, I don't see that. But I also have been writing for many years, so maybe that's part of it. Yeah, I just find that, so like, I've tried to use it for social media posts, and then I just deconstruct it so much. Like, despite what I tell it to do, it gives me 4 emojis in it, and I said no more than 1. Yeah, and it just like repeats, like, it has like 2 sentences of signing off, and one of them is basically a repeat of the first sentence, and like, it's too freaking long, and it's just like, by the time I do all the undoing, it's like, why didn't I just write this myself? So that's one example, one of many. I don't find it's a time saver for that sort of thing now. Like I said, they're like encapsulating, summarizing information, or having it go out and grab stuff for you that you're like, what does this mean? Or can you aggregate this? Of course, that makes sense. Like, I'm not so egotistical that I don't think that it can ever help me, but a lot of times that's just like, I can do it better and at the same speed. So you're dumb, go away. So yeah, it's always going to get better, like literally every week probably. But right now, I don't find that it's in most cases a time saver. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So I stand by what I said. Overhyped and undercooked at this point.
Yeah, great way.
However, I disagree. If you're not using it, you will fall behind, full stop. And part of that stems from the fact that we're in very different roles, obviously.
Yes.
And in my role, it's a lot more of like the technical application than the creative application, which should remain with the person.
Yeah.
Your example hit the nail on the freaking head, I think. But where I see it start to be a big differentiator is when you can have this AI software lay on top of your existing ERP and start to bring structure to otherwise unstructured data. Or the people who are using, like my use case earlier, who are using a tool like ChatGPT or in general LLM to generate other custom codes for further automation that can enhance what they're currently doing in their CRM. Or the marketers who are starting to learn right now how to use it, but who are identifying those friction points with it. In fact, that still kind of sucks to write social posts, for example, but still working through that and learning how to work through that. I think that's going to be the differentiator 5 years from now. The people who are growing with it, learning, digging through the pain points with it, are learning the quirks, and more importantly, learning how to conceptualize how it works, as I think something that many people are quickly going to struggle with, because it's easy just to conceptualize it as this big software that just, looks at my data, thinks, and gives me something, but it's so much more nuanced than that. And if in 5 years from now you think, okay, all of my competitors are using this special AI software on top of their ERP, it's time for me just to flip the switch and get those benefits. Well, you are at a 5-year disadvantage at that point. Your competitors have been using it, learning with it, growing with it for 5 years. They've got a massive educational leg up on you and procedural leg up on you. You may be using the same software then at the same time, but not only will they have more built out, not only will it be significantly more robust, but that team that's been growing with it for 5 years will be able to conceptualize how to use it in different applications significantly better. So I think it's very situational. If you're in a very creative role, then maybe it's not ready for mass adoption. It's more gimmicky. It's a nice to have to be able to chat with, to, like you said earlier, kind of unravel all the disparate thoughts and give structure to them. But if you're in a more of a technical role, or if you are in like a BD role, or in charge of large data sets that the information exists in there only if you can parse it and understand it, then you absolutely need it at some point, sooner rather than later.
Yep, that makes sense.
That was a lot of rambling.
I was touched.
Oh, perfect.
I actually just went and subscribed on my Fitbit to ChatGPT for my personal life.
Good.
The full business, like $8,000 a month plan.
Awesome.
Because you got me. No, but your points are totally valid, because it is two very different worlds. It's like one's technical, one's creative.
We've got the duality of marketing right here, man.
That is.
Five right, doesn't
Fight.
Get right. The last 20 minutes are going to be just a full-on brawl.
Yes. I took Taekwondo for 1 month at the YMCA down the road. I got my white belt barely, so just beware.
Well, I don't have a white belt, so you got a leg up on me, man.
Oh, I'm going to get a leg up on you.
Okay.
Moving
on, Adam. Moving on.
Well, no, but so to go back to like when we started going through all the learning tracks for AI, all those seminars, all that stuff we attended like almost 2 years ago. The other, I mentioned like the one like repeating thing you kept hearing over and over again, but there's another one. The other thing that all the like instructors and all the article writers were saying back then were, they would say AI is not replacing marketers. AI will replace, or they say people who use AI will replace marketers who don't use AI. I think that I half agree with that. I think it maybe should be amended to like people who use AI wisely will replace those who use it unwisely or not at all. Is that fair?
I think fair. It's
okay. Fair,
I saw an analogy early on that like equated it to a hammer. Some people can take a hammer and build a house. Some people can take a hammer and break their hand. How are you going to use your hammer?
Right. Yep. And I think what you said too is like as teams are adopting it and learning it, we've seen it internally. The better you prompt it, the better the responses go, and the science of prompts. And even as it's learning, that's becoming. When it first started, I feel like that was especially important because like it would go off the rails. Yeah. Now it's getting a bit better, but there's still a nuance in how you're prompting it. There's benefit in making sure that you're prompting it in a way that you know what it's going to spit out, and again, too, for using it for tasks that you know what tasks to use it for and what tasks don't want to touch it.
And in regards to prompts, do you guys still say you are an expert in this field or any of that jazz? I don't.
I don't either. I'll give a background on like clients. I'll be like, this is the situation.
That's what I do too. I give it like the situational information,
right,
and then just assume it's going to just do the rest. And it's been doing fine.
Right, and it has been.
Yeah. I will reiterate, especially if I can't remember when I last like told it. I'll reiterate like this is the industry, this is the target audience, and here's what we're writing about and why. So beyond that, I think it kind of gets it to this point. Plus, you can like kind of cluster ChatGPT. You can like cluster conversations now into one like umbrella conversation or folder, if you will. So it kind of gets that broader context, which is nice.
So we've touched on this a bit in how we've talked about where it seems to excel, where it really doesn't, the nuances there. What have you guys seen in its ability to maintain brand voice, industry nuance, conversion performance? We've touched a lot on where it outperforms and where it falls flat. What are your thoughts there?
Brand voice. Okay, say those again.
brand voice, industry nuance, and then just like overall conversion performance. So creating content that could lead to those conversions. And I know there's been advancements. HubSpot tools have tools in place within its content hub to help with those sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean, it can give you like a root. It's one of those things where it's like, again, like I can do it better. And I don't mean that to be arrogant. No, just like it just can be like on the nose, or maybe it will come on a little too strong. Like it wants to get really like me sometimes. So just again, that's like one of my pet peeves. As I'm a reviewer of content and all that, anyways. So I just think it could do a better job in all three of those. Really, the first two play into the third one. It kind of wants to like propose on the first date when it writes content, like, here's this thing I'm teaching you about. Now contact us to see how great we are at solving it.
What's wrong with that?
Well, our clients love it. That's why I fight with all of them.
We would never.
Not physically, just little. I have to give them coaching from time to time. Yeah, that's not a good idea.
It's enticing. The thought of being able to create a mass amount of content really quickly. I understand why a lot of our clients are like, "This sounds great," and it's hard to educate them on the limitations there.
I mean, above all else, with those three things you mentioned, like really more so just comes down to being cookie cutter. And I know we have other stuff we're gonna get into later in the podcast that we'll probably touch on that a little more. But yeah, it really just comes down to originality. Now, for you, that's not so much the case because there's not as much creative license in coding something, I would imagine. So,
no, you just copy everything from
must be nice. Yeah.
Git or whatever.
Yeah.
Where I still get to see that at least a little bit, I don't get to use it to generate content or anything creative or fun ever. However, where I do get to see it in play is in some of the HubSpot tools, like you mentioned, where we get to set a brand voice at the account level, where we get to give it writing examples, and then set all the branding guidelines that we want. So when it does generate content for us, social posts, blog posts, snippets, whatever else we have been using it to generate, it always has that frame of reference to go back and, I guess, reference. Like to use a frame of reference for. So I've seen in those cases, the limited cases that I have seen it applied, perform better and more consistent with brand voice and the like, versus something like ChatGPT, where even if you're in that same chat and you say, this is a writing example, these are the brand voice guidelines that you have to adhere to, write a blog, then write another, it has a sense of decay about it. And I don't know how accurate it is anymore, but the way that I learned about ChatGPT is it doesn't store those instructions in memory for that chat. Instead, every time it has to generate a new response to you, it reanalyzes your entire chat. So in theory, it should be reprompting itself every single time it generates a response or a new piece of content within that chat window. But I just haven't seen that be the case. There is that sense of, like I mentioned, decay for it.
It really is decay. I have seen it too, where it's like, you just start to see the wheels fall off the wagon, even if you're asking it to do the same thing. And I'm like, no, buddy, go back to like number 3. Like, you had it there. Like, what's happening?
And maybe it's like chat fatigue. Like, if you sit down, you speak with somebody who only speaks about themselves for like hours on end, you might just be doing it if you can end that conversation. Maybe AI is subconsciously doing that in those individual chats.
Why don't you ask how my day is going? I don't know.
It's thinking like, if I perform poor enough, they'll just move on to the next chat.
My brother would do that with chores growing up. He learned very young that if you do something incorrectly the first time, they'll ask someone else to do it the next time.
Smart of your brother.
Very smart. I was the opposite. I was like, I'll just keep doing it better and better. Just tell me I did a good job.
And look where you are now.
Yeah.
It all.
Oh, good. So with all of that, what checks and balances do you think need to be in place when using AI to help with content generation, and also tying that into how can we mitigate the risk of content that feels generic and automated?
Oh, boy. That's a loaded question.
To mitigate the risk? Don't use it.
Right.
I think full candor, that's the only way. Adam, you said it perfectly earlier. AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek is, I think, the open source one that anybody can use on their home computers, whatever, or any other LLM, it's all trained from essentially the same sources. Yes, as new content gets published, as new resources are developed, proprietary first-party resources or whatever else, it gets fed into the machine. It should get a little bit better and better and better over time. But at the end of the day, it can only recycle the words so many times to describe a topic. So that's where industry experts come in. And yes, when a person writes a blog, Adam, you've seen it a million times, you're a senior editor, it's flawed, it's not perfect, but it's human and it conveys the information in a much more relatable way than AI can at this point or potentially ever could.
Correct. Yeah. Perfectly said. So I think it's been almost 2 years since Google announced the EAT. Gotta say it that way. EEAT. So Google always have the EAT guidelines for content on the website, and that was a big, not an official ranking factor, but it influenced many official ranking factors of how it decides what it wants to show on Google. So E being, here we go, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. I think they made them as long words as possible. Like, they couldn't just be like good or So
how much simpler would SEO be if we could just good, bad, just keep it binary?
Yes. And then, but yeah, about almost 2 years ago, they added another E. So now it's EEAT. That E is meant to convey experience. So what that's saying is show that you've been there before, basically. So that subject matter expertise that your company has, your engineers, whoever, what examples or anecdotes can they put into that content that will differentiate it, so it doesn't look like it was written by a robot, or it's not like just surface level crap. Those can't be manufactured by AI because AI doesn't manufacture anything. It is, as you said, pulling from existing knowledge it builds up. It can't create new from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to keep that in mind, that you have to inject something in everything you write on a website or on your social accounts. Ideally, you're injecting something in everything you write that shows like, hey, this is us being a human, and we are genuine and empathetic, and oh, by the way, we actually know what we're talking about. We didn't have someone else write about this. Because I don't know about y'all, but I can find I would say the very, very most 15 seconds if something was AI written. Like, even if it's a long form blog post, it still doesn't take more than 15 seconds. I know. It's those damn M dashes with no spaces in between, or it's the overuse of the word incorporate, or and that plays into the second half of your question. You mentioned like some like checks and balances. Something I do is I have a document in my Google Docs. I just promote by accident. I don't think we can say Google Docs.
I had a Gatorade bottle.
It's very
non-branded.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Well, we could be.
Could be. We're open to it.
We're here. Text us. So yeah, I keep a document of stuff to watch out for. Really for the whole team, but also for myself, first and foremost. So certain words that you see repeat over and over again, like crucial, and all these. There's so many. And just the way that it writes in passive voice a lot, the way that it uses so many, like, not only, but also statements. There's just so many other little things that give it away. Not that when you do one of those things one time, it means that you should accuse someone of being, an AI plagiarist or something. But, like, the evidence builds up. And, again, I don't know about the rest of you, but, like, when I can tell something is blatantly AI written, I'm just like, all right, whatever, you don't know anything, go away. And I just go find something else.
Adam, I have a really neat idea.
Yes, I like ideas.
Sorry?
I said I like ideas.
Oh, good. You're going to love this one then.
Oh.
I think you, as a test for P80,
yes,
should yourself write a blog with zero AI input.
Okay.
But make it sound as AI as possible, so that we can analyze the rankings and see what happens with it.
That's fun.
Your goal is to fool every other reader into thinking somebody just hit go on ChatGPT, copied, pasted with zero editing.
Oh, I could do that so easily.
Okay.
So for context, for the person watching this, hopefully more than one person watching
just
this.
the one.
I am like overwhelmingly, I review like the majority of our content. So I'm the one who sees what our lovely writers write, and then
makes them cry.
And then I make them cry. And I feel like I'm pretty nice, nicer than I want to be. No, they're great. But I definitely, I see it all, and I think we have writers here who, past and present, who all have used it in varying amounts, from maybe not at all, I don't know, maybe very little, to people who rely heavily on it. And I can tell you that in that small sample size, it's not like there's no like clear curve. Like, people who use it more do better, or vice versa. It's still like ultimately up to the person to make it not suck. It's what you make of it, from prompting to editing it after you get it back in your hands. So
I was going to say one of our checks and balances is Adam sitting right here. But like also to make sure that if someone is heavily relying on it, identifying maybe the reason why, is there education that can be provided to how to make better use of the tools that we have.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. How do you checks and balance from a technical standpoint, though?
You don't.
Because if you don't know, like if it's way smarter than you in that thing, because it's just a bunch of code, like you just hope for the best and just plop it in there.
My check and balance is Zekens. Well, I used my example earlier. I used ChatGPT to help create this app script that I told it what I needed to do, and then I can go through and I can read code and understand what it's trying to do. But if I try to optimize it or write it myself, I'm completely lost. That's where Zach comes in. So we sat for like an hour on Monday and just read through this, and holy cow, you should see how passionate he gets. It is unbelievable, his eye for detail with this stuff.
It's not surprising.
The end result was something to the effect of, well, yeah, it's going to work after I made a few little tweaks here and there. However, and then he listed off every way that ChatGPT, this monstrous tool, could improve itself. And every other contingency that it should have accounted for based on my instructions. Zekens was like, yeah, if you just make this one little tweak here, and everything would just fall into place. So that's what
I know, and he said it so humbly too. Like, I just know that about him. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was just the passion coming through on it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, we're coming towards the end.
How have you not had anything to think at?
Mine's
just looking the other way.
Okay, I was going to say, I have like a 5-minute limit.
Everyone watching, that's your time to drink some water.
Yes, please drink plenty of water. So that's my number one tip for this podcast.
That's it. AI podcast, drink water.
As we're coming into the end here, any horror stories or areas where clients were completely unaware of the limitations, or maybe on Zach, your end, what it could do?
Horror story, not really a horror story. How many times can I say it? But I think it's being set up for long-term failure, even if it's short-term success, is when people get creative and they understand the technical aspect of it enough to have completely ad hoc AI-generated website pages. So no content was created by human. They simply prompt the AI to generate a web page based on whatever's going on, whatever that specific topic is, and then it's more or less the same, but can be dynamic based on the users viewing it in geographic areas with zero human input. Google's supposed to be cracking down on that kind of stuff. You might fly under the radar if your site's small enough, if you're not getting a ton of traffic, if it hasn't yet meticulously indexed your pages, or if it didn't quite pick up that's what you're doing the first time. But long term, that is a massive no-no for Google, Bing, and all the other big search engines. And I think it's just setting somebody up for failure long term. So there have been a handful of very candid discussions with project clients over the past year and a half. Some that work with PAD directly, some that we get from HubSpot to onboard, that's their goal, and we have to try to caution against that. Ultimately, it's their decision. We're not the ones generating the content. It's their website. They've got their content guru in place. So that's the biggest horror story that I've got, is potential long-term failure and a really, really negative reputation in the eyes of all search engines for your entire domain. Yeah.
It's so hard to because, as you said, we can advise against it. We can say what the best practices are, and then it's kind of in the hands of the client to do with that what they will. And it is unfortunate when you see people make that decision, and it's like, well, we'll see how this turns out in the long run.
We know how it's going to turn out in the long run.
I know, which is so sad, especially because I love numbers and I love to see them go up. And just knowing that the long-term failure is there.
Yep.
Adam?
Well, apologize for this. This feels like a too soon thing, but we have clients that you and I worked on together with, who basically told me on a call that I was easily replaceable with AI. that AI could do it.
Remember that.
Yeah, it could do it in 10% of the time. And I think that might be the only time in my 8 years here where I've actually directly refuted a client and you're wrong or no.
It was a fair time to do it, and you still did it kindly.
Thank you. But again, it just comes down to the idea that people are marketers are replaceable, salespeople are replaceable with AI, and especially in B2B, I just don't think that's true. Long sales cycle, we all know that takes time, and you always were doing it on handshakes and long-term relationships and on-site visits and all that. That still exists and needs to exist even in the digital world as best as you can replicate that. And just putting out that again cookie cutter crap is not going to do that. It doesn't show we understand you. Here's specific reasons why. Here's examples why. Here's a chart. Here's a diagram. Here's a photo of an actual thing from our actual warehouse or something. It'll get better. It'll get better week by week, but it'll probably never be able to truly do what a human team can do. So that was quite the bummer to hear. But that's that's why people hire us, so we can tell them no, I guess. Or they might still not listen to us, but
hire us to tell them no.
That, yeah. But ultimately, it starts from the top, I think. We have a boss who, obviously, AI affects us too, even though we're the ones doing and mentoring marketing. But, starts at the top. He gets it. He understands that his people are valuable, but he also understands the value of researching tools that can help us do our job better and more efficiently. So it's, again, it all comes down to good marketers who use AI wisely will replace those who use it shittily or not at all.
I think it all comes down to, and you use the word tool, that is what it is.
Don't be a tool. Yeah.
Don't be a tool.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was just about to ask if there's any parting pieces of advice, so.
Drink water and don't be a tool.
And
and cut.
Truly, any other pieces of advice here before we close out?
Just don't outsource creativity. Always start with looking at the VAC type of things and the type of add-on type of things when you're looking to be more efficient as a company. It totally makes sense that you would be more on board with it than me, because I think it offers more potential to do good and maybe less potential to do harm in your case. I don't know. It can still do a lot of harm.
Only if you just completely misconfigure something. A program that assigns an ABCD value can only do so much. To your point, though, you're the creativity that you don't want to outsource. I'm the boring thing that just makes a program run. Sometimes that's a very small segment of what I do on a daily basis. I want to clarify that. That's not my job. I'm not a developer. I guess parting advice from me would be, harkening back to what I mentioned earlier, is if you want to be successful with it in 5 years, start today. You should have started 2 years ago. It's not too late. In 5 years, you'll wish you would have started today. And I know that sounds so wildly cliche, but it's so unbelievably true in the type of techscape that's rapidly evolving like this. Like I said, especially if you have large data sets, CRMs, ERPs, any other acronyms that you just want to be able to get in there and make sense of unstructured data. There are so many different tools that you can begin implementing that run on-prem or on cloud for processing that can help you keep your data secure and safe, because I know that's a big concern for a lot of people, but also let you dive so much deeper into your data than you've ever been able to. Even HubSpot has a few brand new Breeze tools, and one of them is the social agent, which I think you guys know can analyze so many more data points in such a short amount of time, more data points than the three of us here could ever meaningfully analyze and make use of. And it's doing that in a split second and helping us determine not necessarily what to post or the copy for it, though it can, but the frequency with which to post, when to post this specific type of verbiage to a specific platform. It's not, though it can, replacing the creative aspect of it, but more the boring analytics and the data processing side of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good way putting it.
No, that was perfect. And thank you guys both so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So much fun. I was excited because I knew there's obviously differences in the roles, the use cases, things like that. So excited to have you both here to kind of get that all-encompass view of AI in the larger scale of marketing and what we do here at Protocol 80. For anyone listening, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions or want to learn more, you can visit protocol80.com or email at info@protocol80.com.
She didn't drink enough water.
I know, I didn't drink enough water. It's actually empty. So, and that's all. We'll be back for our next episode. Thank you so much.